Mink seemed to be hungry early in the morning every day. That was his first chore, is to look for something to eat. And he liked to run along the beach, along the driftwood. And this one particular morning, he went further than he usually did. He went around the point, and there was a little house there. He thought, gee, that's a nice place. Maybe I should move down here because I love seafood. And he went in there and he peeked in the window, and there was Grizzly sitting there just devouring all the smoked fish and dried meat and clams she had stored all around her little house there. And Mink hid away for a while, and he was thinking, how am I going to approach her to get some of that food? Then all of a sudden, it seems like a light bulb went on, and he realized he's going to have to be closer to her than he ever thought possible. So he knocked on her door and he said, "Good morning, Grizzly." And Grizzly, "Good morning, Mink." And he went in there and he said, "Do you think I could have some smoked fish?" And she threw him a piece and he ate that. It was so good. And then he thought a little bit further. He said, "Grizzly, do you think we could get married?" Because all the time in his mind he thought, if I married her, I would never have to look for food again. But when he asked Grizzly to marry him, she was angry right away. She said, "No, I don't want to get married to anybody because I would have to provide them for food." And Mink said, "Well, you know, when you go looking for food, I could stay here and watch that nobody steals anything from you, and I would keep the house nice and tidy." And Grizzly thought for a while. She said, "Well, that's a good idea. I think we will get married." So they invited the animals that were living around there, and they got married. And she was happy with the idea that Mink would stay there and watch her food. She didn't want any of it stolen. And soon as she went out looking for food, he ran back and got his younger brother, who was having a hard time finding food too. He ran around the point and back to where he lived and told his brother about all this food that was stored in Grizzly's house. He said, "Come with me." And she goes out at this time every day. You bring our boat around, you bring our canoe around, and we'll fill it up with food and leave. He said, "I really didn't want to marry her, but I wanted the food there." So the brother came around, and he was just around the point. Soon as he saw Grizzly go into the forest, he came paddling as fast as he could. He stopped right there in front of the little house, and Mink and his brother started loading the boat on with all this food. It was just packed. And they took off. They paddled around the point and as far away as they thought they could go. And they got hungry. They stopped and they started eating. They got filled up so much that they both went to sleep, and the boat just kept going in towards shore. It went dry. Grizzly got home and saw all this food gone from her house, and she knew right away that Mink was up to something. So she went along the beach here just growling away. she noticed the boat on the beach there, and both men were sleeping. She just tried to be quiet until she got there, and the first one she got a hold of was Mink's brother. And our elders always told us to always watch out when we go into the wilderness, that if a grizzly ever catches you, he always scalps you. He puts his big claws right here and takes your scalp right off. And that's what she did to Mink's brother. Mink's brother was just screaming. Mink woke up and he started to run along the beach. He didn't even know how to save his brother. And that's how our elders taught us not to be touching anybody's, whatever they owned. We should never touch it, because someday we'll get caught somehow and we'll have to pay dearly. Ku itlok, ku mat. What good by a kajis kui pitch him he got hot taken. He says hook ne jet tunist quack like quack. By go tatan kui so taken. Oh, go qua so hack tin kaji quick one was quiet. So matters. Like something quarters asked. Ja kakwat nam ko estana o kakmot so wins kos a jakaps achti ko tan kay hok das at hot kot uk damne on kos na khaugas ne koanachtan hukot sai tas khaugas hot kot uk dam kaktas na Chiak kunes uk dammak moktas. He got he koigans kai koin ega na gayet en haugas gamauet en so tlasjouta stan gak dam haugas ook eigen chichis. He huk titel sees hij krijgen ook was hij zeer het kaka. Kwaga ort hot haugas. I thought got krijg. Seed tem kuku. Mokta stan. Ko he koigens krijg. Koin ega maujet en fair. Got some pie kacht echten. I thought ko. Ko kon koigens. Got some chemes ik chikaji. Got got hona. Nam kane gashes na haugas. Aji gamaujethen natko. Hua hot got na haugas au kwa khaslet ken. Koin huchesi maujethach. Pait sai gachu nethi tet echt nicht alt. Oist gamauje na chenisam nicht konet. Paitam nicht amot. Chinsam paina konet uktam nicht alt. Chinsam pai jemat uktamas. Paitam babda nicht echten. Gut hot got haugas. Nigisam nicht konet te aier thaan tseim ko echten. Mau ye heutan. Yehla teges uktamas mas. Palat uktam kotastas. I mod ko koigan tensot lakaugas so treiqenam qajipay kot qacht eltens. Ko hi koigans qeihos qojimot qeih ne ko tho heq. Hotam yehlat huatam qos hoshim sna nuhwel yech eshtem ko elten. Hoi hoshtem hit hoitam ko happy. Tho jilk sit lak saltus. Ho jilk metas qeihas. Qochexum ko tho heq nes lames khaugas. Tauthach kuna Buenas ina tatso flauas ta aye. He god anken te qeqas qua nek o god kunaus kso hektan pap kotas tlaq khaugas so fichim. Qua hek o ama thot mot. Qua slaitan hat jitlo. Kot yech ateges nuhuit ko elten ook dam. Heqe thote utan niji kwa kok akam kakam hateu elten tan kot hukna hukot chesi hojo theno kot ko makamot kaihit qeqas kunsit lach ne lich tan tapt nuhuit Heut khaugas ayet jakak onamte hot kot tatana mateges uktan elten hot ko mot khaugas tlaq kot kham sam kun nam ko na tokhne hos kun sekche hunijis qaihit qeqas ko jakak onam tapet nuhuit lich Hot ko kwa semot, hot kot hi het makens qeqas qeih mahus. Tuktas hot kot lopos ist qeqas qeih, hot ko sisai mot jet lagathot, hot ko hoi mot ktho happy kunes lames khaugas. Pai gotata utu mostem sna chich jeteno. Wat slagmot chichi wol wat chesi hot kapt. Agix kunach kaimi hot pai ne kuna nam ko tipishi kon chesi hot kapt kon agix kunach ham ko slok ham ko mat